How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing? You must be just like, this is crazy, all the planning you must have had to do to pull this off.
I mean, I literally did so little. I slept 7 hours last night.
Wow.
But my teammates, they're the one. Alex is the one who's setting up everything. I remember at 11:30 a.m. today, she was literally like this. Oh, everything set up. So thank you, Alex, for get us all get together today.
So I think the plan is for us to have a back and forth conversation. We've got some topics related to some of the things you've already heard and some other sort of topics in the popular media of late related to AI and educational technology. So we're going to have a back and forth, but I also, I encourage you all to engage with us as well, if that's okay.
Perfect. That's my plan as well.
Yeah, okay, wonderful. So, I mean, I know many of you in this room, so feel free to, if you hear me say something that you'd like to challenge or question, or, let's make this a robust sort of thinking exercise to allow us to get to, a productive end result. I would say that the first question I have for you, Min, is if you could expand a little bit on, if you think about why you originally started Colleague AI. You hit on it a little bit, but can you tell us a little bit more about what specifically, what problem or problems were you trying to solve?
Yeah, so some of you know me, you know that I started as a preschool teacher when I was 22, 23, very young, fresh out of undergraduate. 6 months in the classroom, I burned out. And because whatever in school you learn about those theories, like pedagogical theory, learning theories, but you have to practice in the classroom. When you get into the classroom, different students, their learning needs are very different. And I was managing the students at the same time learn about the content, even preschooler, 3 to 5-year-old, like you got to learn about the content, the subject, and learn about the pedagogy. So 6 months, I burned out, and I applied for a graduate school in economics. So I wanted to talk with numbers away from kids and human as a way possible. So that...
Are you saying widgets are easier to manage than children? Is that the deal?
Wow, for me, the numbers are very easy to manipulate. So all this later on, like a decade later on, and when I get exposure to machine learning AI, that all click together. I was thinking, how can we utilize technology, right? As I described at the very beginning, like those fundamental problems in teaching learning in terms of the 3 pillars to support personalized learning. I was thinking, how can we use technology to be able to unite those 3 pillars in an automatic way so that we can offload some of the teachers' non-teaching administrative tasks, so that they can do what they signed up to do. What they signed up for this passion is, for this profession, is to make an impact on students' learning outcome. You didn't sign up in the teaching profession to do an administrative task behind the desk, away from your students. You want to be in front of them, interacting with them, and impact their life. And so that's become Colleague AI's mission.
That's wonderful.
Thank you. So in return, similarly, Justin,
Yes.
from a district leader's perspective, what do you see the benefit, the relevant part of AI development? What do you see the disconnect of AI development for schools?
Right. I mean, so to kind of your last point, I feel like we, at least in our district in Snoqualmie Valley, where I'm the director of technology, I feel like we've been hitting at the teacher productivity and staff productivity side of AI. We've been sort of upskilling our staff, showing them how they can save time and be more efficient in the things that they're doing. And so that's all well and good and has been a great entry point into them understanding what the, what the art of the possible is from an efficiency perspective. But where the rubber meets the road in this business that we're in, it's about improving student achievement, right? And so how now for us, it's looking at the different AI tools that are out there and choosing which is the one we're really going to go all in on, and then really train our staff to use well to improve what they're doing in the classroom with students. That's the challenge that I have, and I'm sure many of you have the same challenge in your districts. One of the things I'm noticing that is also a concern, or something that I'm hearing from some of our parents, and you may have seen this as well, there's a significant movement that is anti-ed tech, which is following on to the cell phone and social media bans, which I'm sure we're all like thrilled about as educators, but I definitely have some concern about the anti-ed tech movement, that it's drawing a broad brush around all the tools that we classify, as educational technology. And I think it's incumbent upon us in this field to do a better job of communicating to our families, our parents, that what we do intentionally in the classroom on a daily basis with laptops, Chromebooks, iPads, whatever it is we're using, and the applications that we're using is different than putting a kid in front of a screen to watch a short form TikTok or to play, Subway Surfer, a mindless activity, right? And so those are some of the things that are on my mind. I'm not sure if that really answers your question, but I see a lot of nodding heads, and so it's definitely...
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You had a commercial pop up.
Oh, nice, nice, wonderful. Big tech, yes. Let's see, Men, how about, so kind of along the lines of some of the concerns that, some families might have about, AI companions and AI in education. They might be confusing what they know about ChatGPT as kind of an open large language model versus a closed education-specific tool. What have you built into Colleague AI that would sort of set some of those parents at ease, do you think?
Yeah, that's such an important question. Many of the parents' concern, even educators' concern, are real, particularly if the use of AI undercut our human thinking, undermine the development of critical human intelligence. So on the other side of the coin, completely ignoring AI or avoiding AI bring up its own cost for schools, for district, for our kids learning down the road, right? We view the real challenge for us as a tech developer is how do we design the product in the way in which we're not undermine human intelligence development. I think from a district educator's perspective, and you probably also thinking every day, how do I use AI in a way that amplify my students' learning intelligence, at the same time not undercutting their own learning, right? So again, now you see is a human problem. We can work together and to think about the responsible, effectively adoption of AI. And some of our teachers, 3 teachers very shortly, they're gonna demo how they have been using AI to preserve their human judgment, to help their students develop more strategic, extended thinking, higher order thinking skills. I will not steal their thunder, and they will quickly, very shortly, right, they will show their experiment in their classrooms. But on the broader societal aspect, and many of you probably feel this, AI has been and will transform the economic structure, the social structure of our life. And we want our students to be part of that future rather than being left behind, right? So with that, can I ask you just, like you mentioned about parents' concerns, put parents at ease. Some of the parents' concern about are using AI mean like increasing screen time, right? And what are other concerns you have been hearing about AI and how you as a leader addressing those?
one of the things I read recently was this report from the Brookings Institution, their Center for Education.
Yeah.
And the thing that really stuck out to me, this was a survey they had done, focus groups, other types of research methodologies that they used. But their main sort of thrust is they find that at this point in its trajectory, the risks of utilizing generative AI in children's education overshadows its benefits. I thought that's a pretty bald statement to make. And I'm not sure that I agree with it necessarily. I certainly share some of the same concerns about cognitive offloading. You know, if we're introducing AI too early in the development of a child, and you risk kind of removing the grasping, the productive struggle that it sometimes takes to learn. We don't want to rob our students of that process of education. But at the same time, I think about, you know, as a 10-year-old child, I have vivid memories of a math textbook at the dining room table, open, and I'm doing the odd problems probably, and I can't remember exactly what it was the teacher had showed us how to do these problems. And if I had had like that cute little thing right there to walk me through how to do some of these problems, I mean, I probably would have shed fewer tears as a child. And I'm not sure that, like, I could have used it effectively if I had been shown the proper way to do it. So to me, it's not an either or kind of a situation. It's not all tech is bad or all tech is good. It's in the how. It's the nuances of how we're training our staff to use these tools is where the rubber meets the road, right?
Yeah. Love it.
I mean, am I supposed to ask you a question now? Do you want to do the next one? It's about what instructional moments should remain fully human even if AI could automate them?
Oh yeah, that's a terrific one. I feel like myself is less qualified to answer that. Some of our teachers will definitely be able to shed more light on, but to just tee up what they're going to show very shortly, you will see how they have been utilizing AI to amplify their professional training, right? When you train in graduate school and in undergraduate, when in the process of becoming a teacher, you learn those research-based best practices. But when you walk into the classroom and you have to figure out how do I really implement those fancy, very important theories, right? And so AI can help you to do a lot of those implementation and make the theory become actions in your classroom. And so some of them will show very shortly of how they have been leveraging on that. And if I understand, one or two of you also plan to show how you incorporate AI to support your students as well, in the way that extend students' strategic thinking, help the students to build more hands-on project. You're actually using AI in a way to enable teachers to have a more one-on-one human interaction with the students, and students that have a more peer interaction with one another as well. And some of them will show in math classroom, in social studies. So I'm gonna stop here because I don't want to steal more thunders from them, but
yeah, you don't want to step on their solos, right?
No, that's, you want to hear from them. They tell the stories a whole lot better than I do. So,
Nice.
I know, is Justin, are you ready? Because I
I'm
wanted
ready.
to hear
What do
more
you got for me?
from you
Okay.
than me mumbling. So, when you think about, like you asked me the question, right, of how to sort of think about AI's role in the classroom. How do you think about AI, given like your district leaders now in Washington State? I believe this is true across the country. And we have experience in budget cut. The cost of in public schools, even private schools, the cost of educating per child increase. However, our revenue have not matched on to the cost increase yet, right? And many of the school districts looked for AI as a cost-saving strategy because AI nowadays no longer be a point solution. It can address many needs, right? You may experience this consolidation of technology offering in addition to consolidation of technology offering, maybe assessment, curriculum, consolidation of services as well, right? From a tech perspective. If tech can do the cost saving, from a district perspective, what is the strategic budget allocation strategy here to continue amplify human intelligence?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like at this point, the market for AI is I mean, it's matured over the last year or so. I mean, I was holding off, buying premium licenses for these tools because I felt like the cost was so high, and there were free, the free aspect was good enough for us to train our staff. And I'm only now, as we think about 26, 27, looking at going all in on some of these tools at the premium level. Now that we've passed our tech levy just a few weeks ago in February, I was also holding off for that reason because we didn't budget for it 4 years ago, right? The AI revolution hadn't happened yet. This question is fraught, Min, because we don't want to necessarily convey that AI is going to replace humans in our organization. What we want to convey is that it's going to change how and what you prioritize in your work. We should let the tool do what the tool's good at. Some of those low level, the lower end of Bloom's taxonomy.
Yeah.
And then we should be spending our time on the critical thinking that it takes to perform our jobs well, whether that's at the district office, whether that's in the classroom. So that's sort of how I see that. I don't know where I'm going, but.
No, I cannot agree with you more about we can, the narrative of AI going to replace teachers. The narrative of AI can save money so that we don't need to fund our schools at the level, right, as needed. I feel like you said, is a sort of a false narrative, and we still need to cultivate our teachers' AI competency, their skill of using AI, and we still need to work with our human teachers to think about how they model responsible use of AI in front of their students, right? As you mentioned, we need to continue to invest in education as well as continue invest in our human intelligence development.
How are we doing on time, by the way?
I'm checking. We have roughly about 5 more minutes.
Okay. How about do you want to do the equity question, or do we want to do
that.
You want to do that one? Okay. So how can we prevent AI from becoming, the digital divide? We've been talking about that for years. Whether it's the suburban, urban to rural divide in terms of network capability or access to devices. How do we keep AI from falling into that same trap where we have the haves and the have-nots in education?
So true. Wow, as a tech developer and researcher, AI by nature should be an equalizer rather than a divider, because it's, compared to prior generation of technology, is much more intuitive to use, right, to leverage and to build upon. And we definitely do not want the new generation of AI adoption become the have-not divider. So from our standpoint, the first thing what we do is we always keep a free version of colleague AI, even including the most advanced features to the free tier users. At the same time, we are now partner with nonprofit organizations to feature their OER, which is open access materials, particularly the one being vetted by researchers thoroughly into our platform, such as illustrative mathematics, open SciAd, social studies, climate change. Soon, we're gonna have a ELA as well. So this will not be behind the paywall at all. Everyone can access to those high quality materials. And our colleague AI, when we generate our material, we have under CCBY 4.0. That means teachers can use this for free. You don't have to pay colleague AI published in the public library material. You can just feel free to use them. So that is the first thing we are doing. Second, we co-design all the features with classroom teachers. And when I mentioned about our history, we started with co-design with 20 teachers, represent diverse background, so that the model from the very beginning represent a broader range of school educator students' needs. So that's the second strategy we're using. The last but not least, I wanted to go back Leaf's point of a partnership with the University of Washington, the Amplify Learn.ai Center, this national R&D center. We're able to utilize public-private foundation resources to continue help us to be able to offer free trainings to schools, district, and educators in this way, because ultimately it's a human capacity building story, right, in terms of responsible, equitable use of AI. So if we continue to be able to secure those fundings, we will be able to sustain our training, our education success support to you all.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I also am wondering about some of the big tech companies. I'm thinking about the Googles, the Microsofts of the world.
Mm-hmm.
It feels to me like it should be incumbent upon them to make some of these products available in the education space, particularly to maybe the rural areas, the outlying areas, some of the districts that are not as well off as others. I feel like there's a responsibility there that they ought to own up to, particularly as we see some of the negative effects that these technology products have had. Are we getting towards the end?
We are getting towards the end. Justin, can I ask the final question?
Sure.
Maybe we are future forward looking in 10 years. From your perspective as an educator, district leader, what do you want your students to nourish you in terms of their AI use?
Well, I mean, I feel like, those of us that have been in the ed tech space for years, we've been talking about 21st century learning, and we're now 26 years in to the 21st century. And I'm not convinced that the innovation promise that we've been talking about has come to fruition. And my hope is that with AI, we will be able to get there when it comes to personalized learning and when it comes to deeper learning. I don't think as a teacher you can continue to do the things the same way you've been doing it. When a student has access to AI, you have to change how things are happening, what kind of pedagogy you're using, what you're asking students to do.
Yeah.
I feel like what they know can happen more quickly and be targeted better with these tools. So then let's move beyond that and get to the higher order thinking, allow them to create. Maybe it's leaning into project-based learning more. We've been talking about that for years as well. But my hope is that the technology sort of gets out of the way and just becomes something that is used. It's just a tool in the background that we know how to strategically use to achieve the ends we've always had in education. So that's my vision.
Thank you so much. With that positive note, we can end this segment of a conversation.